Oh, yeah, everybody. Hamim, oh, yo, shade, Shomayim Pesach, V'yoytzorecho atoy, Hay lo no se yiftach, Hey, V'yoytzorecho atoy, Hey lo no se yiftach, Sharei Shomayim Pesach, Sharei Shomayim Pesach, Ve'oitzorecho atoy, Hay lo nosei yiftach, Ve'oitzorecho atoy, Hay lo nosei yiftach, Sharei Shomayim Pesach. Agut Moed Raboisai. Welcome to this unbelievable, fabulous sukkah. Mamish. Yishkoyach to the anonymous donor who donated today's Suda. His son is in the crowd. He himself is coming soon, I think. He's on his way from Yerushalayim. Moshe Yechiel Staller cutting meat for Yontiv with the shear playing on the counter. Absolute dedication. Zeidlin family in West Hempstead burning the midnight oil, 2 dafim back to back. It's the 2 boys and the father who has the machla, and the son. We had a whole email about him. The son got his father to do the daf, and here they are, midnight, unbelievable, doing 2 dafim. Okay, last night there was sushi and bagels for the Hebrew. We have a matzav twice a day. Some of the neighbors are already complaining, but it's covered yontif. Thank you for all you do. This is my 3rd time through Zevachim, and I believe the depictions of the placing of the meat on the Mizbeach are slightly incorrect. There's a gap between the top of the ramp and the altar, which is true. The kohen is mandated to throw the meat over this gap, if I remember my learning correctly. Your dedications have the kohen, your depictions have the kohen stepping over this gap, a good moed and a good kvittel. We saved you a seat here. Rabbi Isai, check this out. This is Shimi Braun Sukkah. I love it. Look at this. I'm going to zoom in. Now, it says over here, Rosh Hashanah, Taanis, Megillah counts down all the Masechtas that he learned. Zevachim is Masechta 21. These are the people that I have to give a shout out. Simcha Levi, Johnny Del Monte. I believe he's from, where was he from? Interesting place. Maybe Florida or something. Berach, Azriel Whitehouse, Jonathan Schiff, Effie Grossman, Moshe Simcha Levine, Gershon Bernard, Lucy Smith, Givaldik. Now, I was just looking at this morning. Did a quick calculation. $18, $36, 18. The total amounts to, small amounts, total amounts to sponsorship of today's breakfast. Pays up the whole breakfast. It's about $3,000. Yeshikoyach to all of you. The Masechta sponsor, David Solomon, dedicated memory of Avi Moiri, Reb Shmuel, Baruch Ben Reb Chaim Tzvi Doiv. Masechta sponsored, Leonishmas, Doidi Shlomo Yehuda, Zuchron Levar Ben Shmuel Chaim, Zuchron Levar Shoka, Velomet Kochim Kolchayev, Anonymous, the Schus for Shlomo, Rochon Tzvi Ben Yenta. Sponsored by Skyberg Capital, in honor of our friends Meir Kovacs, Taki, and Shamshi Shlafrak for the devotion to Torah study and the Shir. Joel Gedalius, Leonishmas, my father, Jack Gedalius. Anonymous, Hatzlacha Baruch Tzvi Gashmias. MDY Coffee Corner, Rivka and Dr. Avram Epstein pray for complete and speedy recovery for Dr. Harold Goldmeyer. Anonymous for Shlema for Dino Bat Esther. Monthly sponsors Anonymous from London, Parnasa B'Shefa, Yuda Lashinsky, in honor of my father's 6th cycle of the Daf. Your big heart and giving to the community is inspiration for all of us. I had no idea. This is Yogi. This is the covered Yogi. So now that I know, I have a face to the sponsorship. Anonymous. Brochad V'Lidai. Yehuda ben Yomim ben Chava and Bracha Baruch Tzvi Nisim ben Shoshana Leah. Monthly sponsors Anonymous Lashon Toivu Metuka L'Schus Aliyah ben Chaim B'Dvoria in honor of my Chavrusa Simcha Leah ben Sim Glicksman Mazel Tov to Talia on her birthday. Urgent for Shlemo for Chaim Yosef ben Ari ben Sor Rezel. HYK Ventures, their full shlema for Elko Baschano, Anonymous, and the merit of Bracha Batchano for good health. Daily sponsors Gershi Schwartz, Leonishmas Hadmor Shali, Mi Pittsburgh, Reb Mordechai Yisachar Ber, sing a song of his. Ben Harav, Reb Avram, Abba Leifer, Zechet Tzadik Livracha. Anonymous, Lili Nishmas, Rocha Bas Reb Yosef David, Yard said is today, and Lefur Shlema Mordechai Ben Rezel. Anonymous, Lili Nishmas Menachem Manish Ben Yitzchak. Anonymous, Zechet Nishmas Mir David Ben Yisrael, Yecheskel Shabayev, for Schut at my court case today, 8:30. Go successfully, and I'm Matzliach. Please pray. Shlomi Nelkin, and Mary Shlomo Ben Yitzchak, and Naftali Hertz, Travis. B'Yomen and Ilana Gross, Lefur Shlema, Rabbi Abadi, Rav Yitzchak Ben Rivka. Anonymous, thank you, Reb Eli, Shkoyach. Eli Epstein, Reb Eli, thank you. MDYR monthly, Lefur Shlema for Yehonatan Eitan Ben B'Shav Bracha, Lefur Shlema Mordechai Ben Esther, Lefuas Hayeled Daniel Zev Ben Eyel Tester. Rabbi said, if you're a guest, please raise your hand. Yes, that's this side. Shalom Aleichem, all you. Who else? Guest. Yes, Shalom Aleichem. What's your name?
Alex Medrick, and this is my son Shlomo.
From where?
Toms River, New Jersey.
Oh, Shalom Aleichem. You're the least guest of them all. You've been with me almost as many places as Dave Sharfin. Dave now holds the record, I think. All right. Rabbi said once again, Akar Satoiv. First of all, to the shul. I have to say, Akar Satoiv to the shul. They let us build a sukkah here, B'nai Yeshivas. Yishkach to those who are building the sukkah, that built the sukkah, all the guys that worked countless hours, even last night till after midnight, they were here still doing stuff every day. To Avremi, to Dave, to Gershon, to Akiva, to Koni, to Ashi. What did Ashi do? Oshi, not Ashi. Ashi's the guy with the bris. Oshi, yes, Yishkoyach. That didn't come out great. Where are you, Ashi? He's not here. Oshi, where's Oshi? Where's Oshi? That Oshi. I know Oshi. We all know Oshi. You were here till what time? 12:15, and this morning I saw you working again. So Moed. We need a lot of people there to help and to get things going. And a lot of the equipment has to be broken down and be brought indoors. There's like a fear of the rain. Now you see the clouds are looming overhead. Yishkoyach, seriously, Yishkoyach, we're doing MDY is sponsoring a kiddush for B'nai Yeshivas. You're all welcome if you're in the neighborhood. So after their davening and after the MDY youth minyan, there's going to be a kiddush in the sukkah, stam hakar satoiv, for everything that they do for us during the year and allowing us to build the sukkah here. They didn't ask for it. It was just something that we came up with on Shabbos. We went over to the Gabay on Yontif. We went over to the Gabay and said we're going to do a kiddush here. They were happy. They didn't have anything in prepared, so that's what we're doing. What else? I don't remember anymore. Oh, you want to hear Moed Dikevart? Then we'll start learning Torah. Mendy Auerbach's very, very chashav a father, Shiva in Or Sameach in South Africa. He does a lot of kira over there. He said, Kol Ezrach B'Yisrael Yeshu B'Sukkos. Sukkah doesn't have a limit. You can make a massive sukkah like this. This is one of the nicest sukkahs I've ever been. Beautiful, white, geschmack, pure. Why? Because Kol Ezrach. And as you see here in MDY, we have Kol Ezrach, we have Chasidim and Yerushalmim. We have guys with sleeves, without sleeves, with jewelry, without jewelry. We have them all. Kippas Rugaz, not Kippas Rugaz, with kippas, without kippas, everything. Kol Ezrach Yeshu B'Sukkos. But the Gemara in Avodah Zarah, you remember, the famous Gemara that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, they said, give us a mitzvah, try us out. So the Gemara says, the famous Gemara says, they gave them sukkah and they kicked it. But what does it say? It says they go onto the rooftops and they make a sukkah because they go on the rooftop. They don't invite the klal. They don't invite the tzibur. Here, the chesed. Here we have Torah and chesed. Somebody sponsored. It's not just somebody. There's dozens of people involved here buying. You think it's easy to get bagels today? Somebody had to think about it 2 weeks ago here in Bet Shemesh. You know what it means to buy a bagel? Seriously. We wanted bagels, Matzah Yom Kippur. Are you crazy? Coming 2 days before Yom Kippur? What's wrong with you? Don't you know our policy? You have to order a week in advance. We lose money on every bagel. We're doing you a big favor. It's a whole zah. To get bagels on, no, somebody had to get up today at 6 in the morning and go and get, and not from this place, this one is better, the whole thing. So all those people that ran and got the orange juice and the bagels and the wine, and this one had to think about that one. And we have Eitan O'Garrick working the omelet stations and a lot of people behind the scenes. So if I forgot your name, I apologize. Rabbi Isai, we're holding Daf Amud Beis 4 lines from the bottom. By the way, I'm the only one here enjoying cheermarket.com right now. They're here. The boys, the Belsky boys are here. Abe and Zevi. We miss Moti. But now we know what we, in the base marriage, what we have every day, the comfort. You guys are sitting on these Keter chairs. This is what we used to have before we had Bemet. This is what the base marriage was like before we had these chairs. So, Hakar Zatayv. I have a question for the Olam. Nobody's going to get the answer here. Because if you say Machloikis, you're wrong. And if you say this, you're going to be wrong. But think logically what the answer could be. You shech the carbon. A carbon we know cannot have a mum. Can't have a mum. So you shech the carbon, of course it doesn't have a mum. After it's completely dead, you go, you take a knife and you cut its ear off. Before the kohen has the ability to do Kabbalah, Zrika, whatever it is. Does it make a difference? Does it make a difference? Think about it. Don't guess. Should it make a difference logically? The animal's dead. Soon you're going to cut him up and take out its innards and everything. Is there some sort of concern about making him a mum, a baal mum? You're not going to believe the answer. Right? You think. It's a problem. It ruins the animal. Mamish, chidush gal moed. So if it came just for that, it was worth coming. Elahad Amarava, holding 4 lines from the bottom. Yod l'kmitza. We just finished saying that if the Torah says the word kohen or etzba, and the Gemara says it depends, sometimes you need 1, sometimes you need 2, but that's enough to tell us that it has to be done with the right hand. So that's the Gemara, yod lamali. I showed you this Xereshava yesterday. It says Yodei Hayamanis by Metzora. It says that it says Mefurish, right hand. So from there we know for the rest of the Torah, every time it says Yad, means the hand. It's Xereshava. Why do I need it? It says Kohen. It says Etzba. I know that you need to do it with the right. Yad l'kmitza. Regel l'chalitza. I don't think I showed the English guys this chalitza, so we'll just do it so we remember. We have the 2 brothers here. One of them is here actually in the sukkah. He actually stays alive. Reuven, the Baldwin brothers, is married to a 5-towner, and he goes bye-bye. So now what they could do is, there's 2 things. They could do something called yibum or chalitza. And nowadays we just do chalitza. What's chalitza? So it's a whole process. We're going to go through the process real quickly to do chazara. They go to the bezdin, and the yavam has a shoe, a special chalitza shoe, and it's tied. It's a whole situation. How you tie it, v'chulu v'chulu, when we get to that sugya. And she must remove the shoe from his right foot. That is the point there, that it's the right foot. And she says, all these psukim, and yivami lakim lachiv shem b'Yisrael, ovayabmi, and he says, l'chofatzi l'kachta, I don't want to marry her. And she removes the shoe, and she tosses it far away, as you can see right over here, poof. Then she spits, roik hanir leinayim. You saw that? Boom. It's over, done. But it has to be with the right foot. Why do I need a special Xereshava regel? If a person is a Jewish slave and he works for 6 years, he goes out. And if he doesn't want, he has good conditions. Why would he want to go out? He likes being a slave. So we take his ear and we puncture it with one of these guys, and all. But it has to be his right ear. Here we go, his right ear. Pay attention, it happens quickly. That's back in the day, before AI. Here's Nachman Seltzer. Oh, it's the wrong one. Hold on, it's in English. There's one in Hebrew. Oh, this one. That's the one in Hebrew. We need English. Here we go. Put on the volume a little bit, please. No? You're not connected to the volume over here. And here comes Nachman Seltzer. What does he say? Avi, if you need to make noise, please come inside. That's for Dr. Avi Factor. We have his twin over here today. Where's his twin? Where's Avi Factor's twin? I saw him before. He's here. Where's the guy that I said yesterday he looks like Avi Factor? No? No? When you see him, you'll chop. Where is he? Oh. He doesn't look like Avi Factor, Rabbi Isai. Come on. A little bit. From the side, a little bit. No? Okay. Shkoyach. Oh, let me do this. I have a cat where I might as well try to puncture its ear. The right ear, l'chayra. What's the right ear? I don't know. Is it this one when you look at him? Okay, when we look at him, probably. His right. Wow, that would be very painful. I had to do it twice. Let me see if it worked. Oh, look at that. Shmag, the all actually works. Gewaldig. Okay, I just made him a treifa. Nebuch. Okay. Balmum. Zok to Gemara. The question is, if I learn it from the word etzba, when it comes to the kmitza, the yad, kaf, it says here. So let's see the pasuk. It says kaf. Again, by Mitzayir it says yodei yimanis. And then by the kmitza it says v'yimale kapo. He fills his palm. So we know that it has to be with yamin. Why do I need this? If we already have the word koyin. Says the Gemara, Midrabbi Bar Chana Nafka, we already learned it from Rabbi Bar Chana, it says koyin. Says the Gemara, chad lekoimetz, v'chad lekidush koimetz. There's two things that go on here. Basically, he does the kmitza, he sticks his hand in, we saw how he do it, we're going to get a better one day. 3 fingers, he wipes down with his thumb and his pinky. Now what does he do? So he could take it straight to the mizbeach, but that's one shita. What he does is he takes it and he puts it into a second kli sharis. The person holding that kli sharis must hold it with his right hand. That second koyin. So chad lekoimetz, to do the kmitz has to be with the right hand. The chad lekiddush koimetz, then afterwards you place it into a vessel. That vessel has to be held in the right hand. Daf Amud Aleph. Here we go. You don't need to put it in the second vessel. Even if you hold that Reb Shimon holds, he might hold that you do have to put it into another vessel. You don't need a right one. You don't need a pasuk to say to do it in the right because he holds you can do it with the left. What do I need? The Gemara just explains a lot of extra words. I learned from the word kuuna. My time to Reb Shimon. How come Reb Shimon says you don't need a kli? You can just take the kmitz after you go with the kmitz and put it directly on the mizbeach. Kodesh kadoshim hi kachatas v'kashim. A mincha, this mincha is like a chatas and like a asham. How could it be like both, a chatas and a asham? So Gemara explains, of the biyad, of the min kachatas. If you want to bring it onto the mizbeach with your kmitza hand directly, make sure you do it with the right hand. Like a chatos. What's a chatos? A chatos is you put the blood of the chatos on the corner of the mizbeach, on the horn, the top horn over there, with your right hand. Balav the bekli, of the bismol. If you do it with a vessel, it doesn't mean bismol, it means also bismol, also with the left hand. Kasham. Gary, we need some pictures, yeah? Of the Gans Oilam from over there. Not just video, pictures so we could one day remember the sukkah. Oh, talking about Gary and pictures. It wasn't a setup, but I just said picture bemis. I want to show you a picture that's going to blow your mind. It's Gary Ben Moshe, 1 year into the shir, on his 1-year birthday, that Yeshua Aaron Price, wherever he is, bought him a birthday cake in Menachem Ates Sukkah on Sukkot. Here he is. Check out that punim. Look at this guy. Look at him today. Look at him. Stand up, Gary, a second. Wow. The beard. Wow. Unbelievable. 7-year difference. It's unbelievable. And that, of course, I zoomed in on Mendy last night. Of course, this is Mendy Auerbach also, with the reddish beard. Same tie, Mendy. Wow. No glasses. Mendy, weiter. That for sure didn't change. So you could do it with your left hand if you want. Says the Gemara, Lo nitzricha. Why do you need Gzeir Shava? Ela lekoimetz minchas choytei. Talking about Mendy. Oh, what a coincidence. What's Mendy's favorite saying? Anybody remember what's, besides Weiter, in learning, what's his favorite kasha? Mendy, what is it? No, it's kasha. You always ask, Lo yechoyte niskar. No, Mendy? He's shaking his head. Listen to Mamish, what a coincidence, Shemakash Baruch Hu. The Gemara says it right here. I would think that somebody who sins and has to bring a chatos, has to bring a carbon, but he can't afford it. So what does he do? He brings a bunch of flour. This guy is a sinner. He should bring something without oil. So maybe he should also have to bring it with his left hand. What's the connection? So Rashi says, beautiful. Rabbi said, check this out. It's unbelievable. Says Rashi, Svar, if you and I were to make up the Gemara, we would all say, listen, wow. We all heard that bomb. That's called a bomb in Gaza. That's saying goodbye. We got to let it all out right now. We have a couple extra 5-ton bombs. Everybody in the sukkah heard it, right? Yes, you all heard it. Nobody could say, oh, he's making it up. It was a thunder. No, that was a bomb. That's ground-shaking bomb. Ken yoivdu koleivecha Hashem. They are also going to try to let it all out. They're going to try to shoot some missiles today, whatever. So don't get nervous if you hear a couple of sirens. So listen to this. What does logic dictate? Logic dictates that if the guy sinned, he had a chet, and he has to bring a sheep. But he can't afford the sheep. So we let him off the hook and he has to bring a bunch of flour. Should he bring plain flour? We should make him work hard. He should bring a little bit of oil. It should cost him a little extra. He should have to bring some levina. It makes sense. We should make his life miserable. No. That's your logic, not the Rebbeinu Shalom's logic. Rebbeinu Shalom says, no. You hear what he says? Rashi says, I want this guy to benefit. Why should he benefit? He's a sinner. No. I don't want it to be a nice carbon. I want it to be the worst carbon possible. Disgusting. You did a disgusting thing, you're going to bring a disgusting animal. MMA what? Therefore, I would have a havamina. Do it with your left. Let's continue. Do it disgustingly with your left. No. That's why I need Gzeir Shava. It should be with your right. Rabbi said last night or yesterday, I said over a little, I told the Olam a little chizuk, but a lot of the Americans, a lot of them here in Israel, and all of them in America, didn't hear it live, and they certainly, a lot of them still trying to catch up. So I'm going to tell it to you now with a little twist, because I thought about it afterwards. I have to be Moisef. The other day we had a tough sugya of Ziknei Darim. The day before that we had another tough sugya. I don't even remember what it was. It's probably traumatic, so I forgot. It was hard. I remember struggling to think. I was thinking the whole time, how do I explain it in a way that people are not going to fall asleep? It was a tough one. But that's the beauty of Daf Yomi. You go the next day, smooth like butter. Not stam, it's geshmak, it's flowing. Another daf. Yesterday was the geshmak, today's geshmak. Then sometimes you have really like agadita stories and this. And then you get a daf, just psukim, from top to bottom. Not hard, not agadita. Let's call it dry, to be fair, nice. Dry, it's just another pasuk and a Gzeir Shava and another thing and another thing. Oh, and in Linkat and klal prat klal. That's dafyomi, but it's the beauty. Because tomorrow is going to be gevaldik. And some people love only psukim. They love psukim. They'll come to you. They remember all the psukim al peh. They hate agadita. So, you have those guys, the mathematicians. They love the cheshbon sugyas. They love the this. They love yavamis. Some people can't stand yavamis. These guys that know families. Stefansky. My neighbor married a Rakowski who married Stefansky's cousin. Are you related? I lost you already. They love this stuff. And then I was thinking to myself yesterday, and I said in the Hebrew shir, I want to be Moisef. Daf Yomi is life. That is life. Sometimes you hit a stone in the road. You hit a big bump. It's a bump. your kid did this, that, and you lost money over here. You invested in Bitcoin and then this. You know what I'm talking about? Life is full of these surprises. Those are the hard dapim. But guess what? You stick to it, and then you get the agadata, then you have a beautiful simcha in your life, and then you have a good news, and this. It's always like that. So you have to know how to ride it out. You have to ride it out. And fakert, not just write it out. You have to learn how to enjoy even the tough dapim, because some of them are gival. They sound like confusing. Those are the geschmacka ones. When you get it, it's geschmack. That's life also. You have to learn even in the harder days. And everybody has those hard days. No one here is above the hard days. Everybody has the hard days. So you have to learn how to even enjoy it and say, wow, thank you Hashem, but I'm alive. I could breathe. I'm here. I'm in the sukkah. Givaldik. L'chaim, l'chaim. I apologize, Rebbitzin, whatever her name is. Ay 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 viso machtoi v'chagecho oy ve'o yiso achsom eveya oy ve'o yiso achsom eveya ay 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 viso machtoi. We had a big schos. We had a big schos of having Reb Braverman here. He just showed up. I didn't know he was coming. And I prepared, to begin with, I prepared a story that he said over in the Shabbaton. If you ask anybody that came to the Hebrew Shabbaton, they said he made the Shabbaton single-handedly, his speeches, and it was unbelievable. You just said 100%? Yes. Mendy says 100%. He comes over to me after this year and he tells me, the Vilna Gaon says, "V'somachta b'chagecha" is the hardest mitzvah in the Torah to keep. How are you going to be Simcha? He says, the Vilna Gaon didn't see MDY. And I thought he's just, trying to be nice to me. And as he's talking, he walks over to his car. And who's in his car? His wife and his daughter. He told me, I brought my son here. This is the Simchas Yontif. And his wife and his daughter are waiting outside there for an hour and a half in the car. He wasn't making it up. He really felt it. He says, I'm not making this up. You bring your son also. But you didn't leave your wife in a car? And she was fine. What? And he had the three magnets. It was her car. She had the wife of MDY on it. She had all the mishpachas MDY. He was fully in. Yeah, I have a picture of it actually. Maybe I'll send it to you guys. You can put it here. I can't do it during share. Not nice. But anyway, weiter. They don't want to see the picture. But maybe it's kedai because it's Reb Braverman. Says the Gemara. Says the Mishnah. Listen to this Mishnah. I'm going to ask you a question. You have to tell me the teretz. Nishbach Adam al ritzpa. If the blood spills out, you're shechting the animal, it spills all over the floor. Va'asafai. And he goes and he gathers it. Puzzle. Here we have a video even. That's not a yishech, by the way. It's not from that area, but okay. I'm going to have to teach the artist. Oh, he goes and he vacuums it up a shtickle. Kinkoed it. What? Well, you could. No, you could. They go back and forth, yeah. Akoponim. Let me ask you a question. Didn't Rabbi say, didn't we learn that if the blood spills on the floor, you could gather it up and go weiter and continue going? Du hilacha, zrika, Erev Pesach. What else? Anybody? What? Oh. Don't tell anybody. Let's see if anybody gets the answer. Dr. Factor's twin knows the answer. Who else? Huh? The answer is what he said. First, you have to gather it. Oh. Says we're not. Oh. And if it spills from the Kli Shares, in other words, you already grabbed it. You already did Kabbalah. You're finished with Kabbalah. Then you trip and it falls onto the floor. Then you can gather it with this machine and use it again. But if it's coming out of the animal and you missed it completely, you're like, and it just falls on the floor. You forgot to bring a Kli. And then you try to gather it up from the floor. Says the Mishnah, it's possible. This is a very exciting sugya for me. I'm going to explain to you in a second why. I found the props from 7.5 years ago when we were learning this exact daf chafei with the video. Somebody took a video of me, and I have the prop. I want to show you. To show the Olam where we were back then and where we are today. You're not going to believe it. I didn't explain to the Hebrew even what was going on. V'logach hakoyin midam apar. The kohen shall take from the blood of the cow, of the bull. Now, anybody that speaks Hebrew knows midam means from the. A little bit of l'chayra. But anyway, the Gemara learns midam hanefesh. We're going to learn more about it. There's the blood that the neshama goes out with. But think about it. Before, how does shechita work? Let's go back. Let's take a step back. You have to sever the esophagus and the trachea, the two simanim. Next to those two simanim, on both sides of them, I'm going to show you a picture of it. They're the main arteries, the jugular vein, but there's another one, something else. One goes that way, one is in red, and one is in blue. I'll show it to you. The carotid artery, correct. Here, I even have a picture. Let me show you if you want to see. Here it is. The ones in blue and red. The jugular and the carotid arteries that are next to this. Here in Eretz Yisrael, everybody knows what this white thing is. This is how they make the air conditioner pipes. Coming out, the release, the water release is always made from that. So you're supposed to not only cut the two simanim, you cut the arteries, and all the blood comes flying out. But think about it. And if you do it in slow motion, you're cutting the skin. It's tough skin, cutting, until you get 2 inches in. Let's call it 2 inches. To get to the simanim, the animal's going to bleed. Why is it bleeding? Because there's blood in the skin. There's blood everywhere, not only in the arteries. That's called the blood of the skin. The blood of the skin you can't do Kabbalah with. You can't do Zrika with. You need the real blood, the blood that the neshama of the animal came out with. So therefore I learned from the Pasuk, midam hanefesh v'lo midam ha'or, v'lo midam hatamtzis, and not from the blood that's left over afterwards. I want the real stuff. Anybody that was at a shechita, it flies out for a distance. That's the blood I want. Midam ha'par. Sometimes people don't really think with all their senses. Here it was again, another Gishmak Abam. A guy comes over to me and says, when I was in 3rd grade, my Rebbe brought a sheep and he shechted it in the middle of the class. I'm like, are you serious? He goes, yeah, that was very traumatic and they don't let him do it anymore. Duh. So another kid came over. He says, look, he shows me a cow that they shechted down the block yesterday. They tied the cow and the cow's jumping around in front of all the neighbor, in front of all the kids. They're shechting this cow. The kid himself took the video and he shows me the video last night after shir. The kid with those payas, you know what I'm talking about? Anyway, so we say, oh, fine. Now you're going to say midam apar means a little bit of the blood, like an Israeli would say. Midam, from the blood. Tavili ktat mehadam, from, a little bit of. Midam apar k'dichsiv. Midam, vafilu mixas dam. I would think that. No, that can't be. Why? Because Rav says you can't do that. You need all the blood. You need all the blood. You need to grab all the blood. Midam apar. So what did I learn from midam apar? Dam me apar yikablano. You should take here we have the cow, here's the blood. You got to put the kli right by the cow, so it goes right into the vessel. Okay? Because Sovar, listen to this. Goyrin umoisifin v'darshim. What in the world? Goyrim, you take off. Umoisifin, and you add v'darshin. And then you give a drasha. So I found the prop. Rabbi say I found the prop. I want to preface this. I did not have a computer then. I wasn't even aware that there's something called Word until Gershon ben Moshe said, dude, it's already there from the 40s. Like, you don't know about it? What? Copy and paste. I didn't know about copy. Kitzer. He taught me from, no, Amaritz. You're talking about an Amaritz. So what did I do? I needed to print something on a piece of paper. So I went. Let me first show you the video. Just understand that the video, these are stickers that I bought in the stationery store, and that's how I put the stickers on one after another. So I created words in the pasuk, and like you could just print it in a printer, and it'll be nicer in a different color. My boys, I take a look at Eli Stefansky 7.5 years ago to the day. Oh, you can't hear it. We got to do something about it. Rabbi said even it's always like that. It just wasn't plugged in. The plug for the audio was out. So you need the Goyin Olam, the guy that could break into anybody's computer, to plug it back in. Rabbi said, here it goes. You ready? You're not going to believe this. Hanan, today I went a little bit overboard with the arts and crafts. Midam apar, so we're midareya and we're moistening it to this apar. This is how we do it. Bam. Dam me apar. Sei gesund. Don't use this. It's patent pending. Here it is, Rabbi Sai. I found it. It even says on my piece of paper here, Zevachim daf chafei. Take a look. It's unbelievable. The stickers, the whole thing, everything. Midam apar. You take the mem from over here. You ready? you remember that, Yeshua? Rabbi Sai, Lekavod Gary's 7th birthday in. Yeah, it's the same balloon. We saved it. Wow. Okay. This is unbelievable. My kids are going to have to... No, what auction? This is Yerusha. They're going to fight over this. Rabbi, this is Rav Braverman last night. This is his car. Unbelievable. So gewaldig. And I'm going to tell you a story that he said over at the... I didn't know he was coming, but I had the story prepared, and he came. It was mamish unbelievable. Zog the Gemara. So again, you take the mem from up here, goirea, you take it off. Moisif, you add it to the word below, and then you make a drasha. And that drasha comes out... that you should receive the blood directly from the cow. Gewaldig. Gufa. We learned that it's not enough. Rav says that he has to receive all the blood, not some of it. It should be all of it. Ask the Gemara, I don't understand what you're saying. Look at this pasuk. It says, we're already holding on the Nesina. He's already putting the blood on the Mizbeach. So what point are we at? We're all the way at the end. So everything that's left over, take and throw it into the Mizbeach. There's 2 holes on the bottom. I don't have the Mizbeach here anymore. It was here yesterday. But you take that and you put it into Mizbeach. We're talking about afterwards, not by the Kabbalah Saddam. We're talking about when you're done with all that avodas, what do you do with the blood? The leftover, you throw it into the drain. There's a special drain over there. I can't use it for the shirayim because it says kol adam. How could you put all the blood in and you already used 25 milliliters to do the zrika, the whatever you have to do with the blood? So how could it be kol adam? It can't be all of it. Obviously, it's not talking about the shirayim. If I don't know what to do with it here, I'm going to use it for our sugya that the Kabbalah Saddam has to be all of the blood. I had a real video of this, but I thought it would be a little bit too much for a lot of people, so I'm just going to show you the still. This is real blood right after shechita. There's a lot of blood, and it could drip down. There's a lot of it, and he actually shows in the video it all dripping down from Rav Weissfish. Now, what's the problem? The problem is that, as the Gemara is going to explain, I want the blood to come directly out of the neck and not off a knife, not off a floor. We said it can't come off the floor. It can't come off anything. It has to go directly from the neck into the kli. Very good. So lift it up a little bit. There shouldn't be any other vessel involved there. Ask the Gemara, now I want to use this knife again. I'm a shaykhit. There's a ton of animals in line here. It's Karban Pesach. There's millions. But if I use it on the next animal, what's going to happen? The blood from this animal is going to go on this animal. I can't mix the 2 bloods. What do? I need to wipe it off. Now I can't wipe it off on a little shmata. Why? Because the shmata is not kaddish. This blood has kedusha already. Why does blood have kedusha? Because touch the knife. The knife is a klisharis. So what do? I got to wipe it off. How do you wipe it off? Oh, so I got to say the classic. Some Nebuch Litvak finds himself at a tish. I say Nebuch because he doesn't know what's flying. It's his first experience. They give him kugel, and then they give him a little chopped liver, and he all of a sudden realizes that he's in a big fact at tsaris. He looks at his hands. The matzah is not good. oil, with the chopped liver. He doesn't have to do it. Like, where are the napkins? It's like in an Israeli restaurant, you know, where are the napkins? Those who know. You want a napkin? 22 shekel. You want 2? Get out of here. Anyway, so in America, every table 4 of these things, and the kids are grabbing, and could you please refill? Kids. He goes to the guy next to him. He says, "What do I do? What do I do?" He says, "What do you mean? What do you do? You see the guy right in front of you, like that." He says, "But isn't he gonna notice?" He says, "Did you notice when I did it to you?" How do you wipe it down? Omar Abaya, Bisvas Mizrach. You have to use the kli here. Let's see what we have here. It's not so accurate. This is just for illustrative purposes only. The Saber Naim. Oh. That's, I showed that. Oh no, this one. I think it's this one. Let's see. No, it's supposed to be on the edge. On the edge. I wouldn't put the knife in there. That's not good. Putting the knife in there. Okay, fine. The point is, it's on the edge of the kli. How do we know? Like it's a lotion of like cleaning off on the gold. So let's take a look at this picture again. You guys see this? This is the vridim we discussed. The jugular vein, and the other one, the carotid. What is it called? Carotid? Carotid, sorry. Vridim, kanaveshet, it's just showing you the vridim. Now, let's pretend that this is my kli. Where's my mum animal? If I'm standing over here with my kli and my cow is over here, no good. Why? The blood is going to squirt out of its neck, and I might catch it, but it's going over the ground. And then we have to pretend that the ground absorbed it. The ground caught it. Yeah, soon. It's getting there. What do I need to do? I need to put the kli directly underneath the veins. Directly underneath. It doesn't mean that I grab the veins and I put it into the kli. That's a little bit rough. He's not dead yet. It means I do it over the ear space, because ear space is an issue. If the ear space is the floor of the Beis HaMikdash, so it becomes like the floor of the Beis HaMikdash. If the ear space is a kli sharis, then it becomes like it's a kli sharis. I need to make sure that the blood, initially, the first moment, goes over my kli sharis. Then it's as if the kli sharis grabbed it in midair. They need to see, they need to be over the airspace of the kli. So now we have some very geschmacka questions over here, and halachas ba'emes, really good stuff. Here, I made this cup special for today's shiur. It's unbelievable. Hold on a second. Something fell in here. Interesting. This was a lot of work. Okay, anyway, we have a plastic cup, right? Pretend this is a kli sharis. So now I'm going to take the blood. I'm not going to do it. And let's say this is the neck of the animal. Here, an animal. The blood is pouring into the cup. But before it hits the bottom, it has a bottom. You see it has a bottom. Before it hits the bottom somehow opens up. You see how it opened up? Mamish, unbelievable. I'll tell you how I did it later. I don't know if they could see it on video. Yeah, they could. Okay. It opens up. It's all slow motion. You got to slow motion this. That's why Kosh Baruch Hu invented slow motion. Those days they had no idea. Slow motion. As it's in midair, whoop, stop, pause. And this thing, the trapdoor opens up. Boom. It wasn't supposed to be like that. It was created as a kli. The guy who made it, went cheap on the gold on the bottom, very thin, and boop, decided to give out. Now the question is, since it's in the ear, we pretend. If it was closed, we pretend as if it hit the bottom. That's not a problem. That's normal. It hit the bottom. Even in the mid-air, it's as if it hit the bottom. But since there is no bottom, so it's not hitting the bottom. But at one moment there was a bottom, but now there isn't a bottom. So how do I view it? No longer a kli now. No way. It's not a kli. It's the furthest thing away from a kli. If you try to pour yourself a drink, you get it all wet. In other words, it's not a kli. It can't hold anything. It doesn't have a base kibble. The bottom of the mizrak, that's the kli sharis that receives the blood. Is as if it rested or not. So this is the story that I said over. So Rab Bravin said in the Shabbos, he said he was talking to a group of boys and telling them about the dangers of drugs. And everything, this guy died from it, this guy, what it does to your brain, fries your brain, all the... After he's done, he talks to... One of the boys says, but now it's geschmack, now it's really good. So when I get older, I'll suffer a little bit. Right now, I'm enjoying life. I'm really enjoying life. So he told him, he says, look, you go to the highest building here in Tel Aviv, that Israeli building, and you jump off the building. Geschmack of you. Everything looks great. Are you having a lot of fun or you're not having fun? So the guy says, you're having a lot of fun. Is not okay, very good. I want you to think about it again. Are you having fun when you realize that there's a sidewalk and it's made out of cement and it's coming up quick? Are you having fun? Are you enjoying the view or you're not enjoying the view? He says, no, you're not enjoying the view. He says, okay. So in other words, you have to look at the soif. Kimunach dami. I just stuck that in. You have to look at the end. Right now you're enjoying yourself, geschmack. But right now you can't enjoy yourself because right now in 20 seconds it's coming up and the landing is going to be very hard. Oh, and the kid stopped doing drugs right away. 9 months later, he got married, became a Rosh Hashiva, and the whole thing. He didn't say that part, but whatever. So, yeah, this is Pasha. So it says, Omar Lei. Oh, let's just do sponsors before I forget. Turning of the Daf. Specialist Adar Global, Specialist International Financial Services, Anonymous, says, Chus v'atzlach and ruchnis and gashmi. It's anonymous. And the schus and support of Torah that all tests should come back 100% healthy for me and my family. There's a kid here, the Einor kid, Yaakov Yitzchak, Yaakov Yitzchak. This is only part of it. The rest is on my lulav. He sat there for hours and hours and made this special for me. Each hadas has one, each arava, and they go together and they go in here. The Rebbe, the Rebbe things. And the hadas also, Akar Satov to Abba Renner, who sent me the hadas mitzri, it's called. It has like crazy amount of leaves. You know what I'm talking about? Very super expensive. What? Shidas Rashi. So yishkoyach to all those people. A kid goes, he's very talented. He'll make you one. It'll take him a year to make it. You start, what? For Pesach. Whatever it is. Geschmack. That's just part of it. Yishkoyach. Yankiv Yitzchak. Yankiv Yitzchak I call him. Litvish way. How did the Chasim call him? Yaakov Yitzchak. Yaakov Yitzchak. Oh. He wants to come over? He wants to get over here? Just to get over, he wants one. Get over here. Get over here. So we have, it says Mefurish. Check out these pictures. So, geschmack. By a para aduma, what's this? I didn't see this one yet. I'll watch it with you. Oi! I should have watched it first. It's pouring in, yeah. Geschmack. Maybe the bottom goes out. Oh, look at this. Yesterday there's no movement on the water. See? Upgrade. Here's what's going. For a paraduma, you need water that comes straight from a live source. Mayon. This is kosher water for a paraduma. Up until he takes this pipe. Now this pipe is kosher. The pipe has a hole on both sides. So it's not a kli, right? It's not a kli. Why does he use this pipe? It's like snowboarding. You want to get the water to go over the rock, not to fall down the rock. You want it to go away. You want to catch the water in your vessel. Any water that's caught by the barrel is no good for a paraduma because you didn't have in mind that it should be for a paraduma. It was water that was caught. It's maim shuvim. You drew the water. What about water that didn't go into the barrel, but it's above the airspace of the barrel? What's the halacha? Same thing. No good. It's as if it's in the barrel. So let's take a look. Push the button. Oh, here's the airspace above. Look at that. That water that's in the airspace becomes puzzle. I love what he did here. He changed it. Last night, it was all red because he was in a rush. Okay. The next halacha is, and we'll see it inside, if you take the barrel, nothing really changes. You put it up all the way to there. Whatever's above the barrel is puzzle. Whatever's inside the pipe is kosher. Because you can't say that the whole stream all the way upstream is puzzle. So everything that's all the way to the end of the pipe is kosher, green. Let's see inside. We learned it, that what? You see that airspace creates a problem. You have a barrel that's underneath the flow of water, anything that's inside the barrel, in the airspace, it's no good for paraduma. If you took the barrel and you put it at the entrance of the pipe, at the exit of the pipe, all the water that's in the barrel is pasul. Anything outside is kosher. So I have an answer to your question. You're asking me what happens if, where's my cup? I don't know. But anyway, there was a cup here. They worked really hard on cutting the bottom out. If there's water in the airspace, and then it opened up, what's the halacha? Is it like a kli or not? So from over here, you can see that it's a kli. Mai says, what's the connection between the two cases? I'm talking about an open kli on the bottom. It's completely open because the bottom came out. And you're telling me, and you bring me a raya from a barrel that's completely closed on the bottom, that obviously we agree with you. That it's as if it's resting in the bottom of the chavis. Rabba masne chavis boimene upashale mizrak. Rabba says, oh no, I skipped. Hi mai boimene avishin seveluah v'kapashale avishin sevenuach. Says Gemara, you're right. Tartika boimene. He actually asked him two questions. If you hold it in this case with the open bottom, it's as if it's not resting. What about a case where it's actually closed on the bottom, a regular? So in other words, he asked him a question from the blood case. He received blood in a vessel that opened up in the middle, and then he answered him. And then he asked him another question. What about if he's trying to catch water for the paraduma? So let's remember, one case is blood, one case is paraduma water. What about the case when he's trying to catch water for the paraduma? Is that okay or not? Rav Yosef Masnachi. So Rav Yosef said he asked him a question from blood, and then he went to the case of water. Rav Kahana asked the Chavis by. He says no, it was different. He asked him about what's the halacha if I catch water. This case that you see on the screen. What if I catch water for my paraduma and it has a bottom? And then he answered him, look, you see this, the halacha is that it's as if it's caught even if the bottom comes out with a case of blood. Sorry. And he answered him, that I skipped for a second. There's three ways to learn it. They asked him about a chavis, and he answered him chavis, upashale chavis. Rabbi masne chavis b'yminei upashale mizrak, and Rabbi says the exact opposite of the first way we learned. The first way we learned was they asked him about blood, and he answered him from water. And now he's saying no, he asked him water, and he answered him from blood, because the case of blood he doesn't have the bottom, so it's a much more severe case. And he answered him about the blood. You know that even if the cow is over here, if you don't put the kli directly below it, it's going to travel. We know that blood travels quite a distance when the cow dies, when it's shechted. And that traveling is no good because the ground is going to catch it. It's as if the ground caught it and then it's going to be puzzle. Fine. Let me ask you a quick question. Could you use lettuce for schach? Let's say you run out of lettuce, you want to put a bunch of lettuce here. Huh? What do you guys say? Yes? No? The same guy that answered the first question is answering. He's the big Talmud Chacham, Dr. Factor's Chavrusa. No? What do you guys say? Why not? Because it's food. It's food. It's food. It's Mikabel Tuma. Mikabel Tuma. Food is awesome. Okay. It's not awesome. So in skateboarding and in snowboarding and skiing, they have these, what are they called now? Ramps. What are they called? Not ramps. Who skis here? Half pipe, not half pipe. whatever. You want to get a little momentum. You want to go flying in. You want to go airborne. So what do? You put a little. You come down a hill and then you do a little bit of a. It's like a ramp, whatever they call it. Not a half pipe. Half pipe is this way. This is this way. Okay, fine. Whatever it's called. I forgot the name now. You want to get the water to, instead of hit the ground, you want it to jump up and go into your barrel. So it depends what you put there. If you put your foot there, it's no good because your foot is Mekabel Tumah. What if you take a look at this. You put a piece of lettuce. No good. Why? Because it's Mekabel Tumah. What if you put your foot there? Love it. What if you put like a regular leaf? That would be okay because it's not Mekabel Tumah. So it says the Gemara, Nosan yodo yoy, you put your hand, your foot there, or something that's edible, so that the water will transfer into the barrel. Psulim is possible. You use some reed, you use walnut leaves, kshera, it's kosher. This is the klal. Davar mekabel tuma psulim, anything that accepts that could become tummy like lettuce is possible. Davar shem mekabel tuma ksherim, something that's not mekabel tuma is kosher for this to grab the water for the carbon, for the paraduma. I know them. What is yiyah tar? Have a yasan that the way you created, the way you got to it, okay. You can prove from here, avir kli kli dami. The ear space is like the actual kli. Why? Because you have to say that the reason why the water over here is possible is because it's in the ear space of the kli. So you see that ear space is what puzzles it. Who told you that it goes airborne like in this picture right over here? Maybe it goes down the wall and he grabs from the bottom. Omarle, this is one of those interesting times in Shas. He says, troda. Anybody that knows me, I overuse this word a lot. Not this exact word, but I like to say shoita. Shoita. It's one of my favorites. But I only say it to my friends. Shoita. I should be using it. But the Gemara says troda. He says troda, and they all ask, that's how you talk to another Talmud Chacham. Chavis Yair says that they were best friends, and he would never do it to anybody else. Ramosha Salveshik says, Pshat, he says, imagine two people going to hear a concert. They're listening to the concert. One of them is in heaven. Wow, it's unbelievable. The other one gets up and runs out in anger. What happened? The second one is a bigger maven. He's a huge maven, and everything makes him nervous. The violin is slightly off, and this is that. It's not knocking. Oh, knew how it was last night. It was great. Zevi Kamiansky, first performance. Shmak. In front of 10,000 people, at least 10,000 people, no? Open for, what's his name? Yishai Ribo. Shmak. My wife went. I sent my wife as a shliach. So he says, he couldn't listen to it. He exploded. It doesn't make any sense what he's saying. It says mefurish that it's airborne. It says kadesh yavru ma'im l'chavistnan. It's airborne. It goes over shiavru. It doesn't say that he picked it off the ground. Shiavru. It made a little bit of a jump. I learned this from the testimony of Reb Tzaddik that if I have water that's like streaming down, it's on the ground, it's crawling down the ground, and I use a walnut leaf. You know what? I've never said the story because it's so famous, but I gotta say it. Once in a while to give ourselves chizuk, to give myself chizuk. Toscanini, the famous Toscanini Maisa. What's his name? Arturo. Everybody knows the story, but it doesn't matter. We do chazar on the stories. The guy was writing a book about him, and he's following him. And finally, one day, they were listening to some concert on the radio. And after the concert, he looks at the guy writing the book, his interview. He says, "No, what do you think about the concert?" He says, "It's terrible. One of the violinists is missing. There's only 14. It's supposed to be 15." He says, "How do you know?" He said, "How do I know?" The Mevinim know. What do you think this is 15 for, not 14? He ended up coming to Eretz Yisrael, I think. Died here in Eretz Yisrael, they say. I don't know. Akoponim. The idea is that a lot of people say to themselves, who am I? I'm a nobody. I'm not a rabbi in a shul. I'm not a this. I'm not a that. I'm a schlepper. You're not a schlepper. You're one of the violinists. He said, who said trucker? You're not a trucker. You just moved to, that's it, you're done, you said. You don't say to yourself, I'm a trucker. You don't say that. You are one of the violinists in HaKadosh Baruch Hu's symphony. Everybody has a place, and when you don't perform, no one will know, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu knows. He knows. He knows. Weiter. Not awesome. Nasan Yodei Aragli. Was there anybody in the sukkah that never heard the story? One person. You never heard the story? For real? The two of you. Three of you. All right, so it's worth saying. For real? So you never know. So you got to say the stories once in a while, even the ones that I'm thinking. Oh, that reminds me. Let me tell you the joke. You ever heard of the? Okay, weiter. What? You never saw the cheetah picture? No, let me show you. Could you pull up the cheetah picture? All right, weiter. We're almost there. We're almost there. Omer Reb Zero. Oh, sorry. There was a story like that. They used a ramp to get him to jump, to get the water to jump. They said it's kosher. Why? Because it was made out of stuff that's not mekabel tumah from walnut. Omer Reb Zera, Omer Rebbe. Here's that story. Rabbi said this is a shocker. If just for this halacha, go home, repeat this halacha to yourselves. Tell your friends about it. Those who don't do the daf. Hatzorim oizen apar. You poke here, mamish like this. I did it to him. Unbelievable. Hatzorim oizen apar. You take your thing. We're somewhere over here, yeah. Oh, the guy is dead. He's mamish dead. Shchita dead. And you poke his ear. You make a hole in his ear. That's what we said today. You got to be careful. A lot of the animals, when Beis Hamikdash comes, a lot of the animals have a tag in their ear, right through the ear. It's a mum. Can't use that animal. He's dead. He's lying on the Beis Hamikdash floor. And then he received the blood. Puzzle. It's mamish puzzle. Unbelievable. He has to be from the cow that was there before, the cow that was kosher, not puzzle. A cow without a mum. Says Gemara Ashkechon Kachi Kachim. That's great. That pasuk is talking about a chatas. Kachi Kalam. How do you know? How do you know the other category of karbonis like a carbon pesach minolan? Omar Rav Tanya said Tomim Zocher ben Shana. Rabbi says here's another question. This will also get you going. How is it possible a guy comes in to shul on sukkahs with his lulav and esrog? The rabbi comes over and says, no. You, I don't want you to shake now. You, 12 o'clock. Come back at 12 o'clock. Shake the lulav. What's the answer? What happened? Why could this guy not shake? According to some Rishonim, not everybody. He cannot shake the lulav in the morning. He can shake at 12 o'clock in the afternoon. What's the pshat? I'll tell you that this is also a shocker. He was born that day, and is born at 12 o'clock. So some Rishonim hold that your birthday is at that time of the day that you were born. And Mamela, when he came into shul for Shachar, it's 9 o'clock, he wasn't a gadol yet. Some Rishonim hold that. And that's what we're going to learn right now about an animal. What about an animal? A carbon Pesach. He was born on Erev Pesach at 12 o'clock. Huh? Yeah, it's a Machlokes Rishonim. In fact, because it's a Machlokes Rishonim, they tell this kid to shake a lulav again. You have to be makpid on those Rishonim. That's what a lot of people say. He should shake the lulav in the afternoon. But let's see it inside. Not about a kid, about an animal. It says in Gemara, Daniel said to him, just a few more lines. Obviously, he has to be complete without a mum when you're shechting him, and also a year old. This is the tremendous chiddush. He has to be a year old when we're doing Kabbalah and Halacha. He can't have any mum when you're doing Kabbalah and Halacha. He has to be complete and a year old. Which is interesting. How could he not be a year old? If he was a year old when you did shechita, so he's a year old when you did Kabbalah. Now you know the answer. You shechted an animal, and all that's left over in the animal is one kizayis. Rabbi said, think about it. You had a giant cow, and now all that's left from him is one kizayis. Is there a greater mum than that? Putting his entire body. We just said, if you poke his ear like this, a little nebachol, that's a mum. And if you take the entire cow, put him through a grinder, and all that's left from him is one kazayis, I don't think there's a greater mum than that. And it says that it's kosher. You could continue doing zrikas adam. You took his ear and you shredded it into little shreds. Forget about poking a hole through it. You took his heart, you took his whole body and shredded it. You're right. It doesn't have to be whole and complete. It has to be a year old. As the Gemara, is it possible that an animal comes into the Beis Hamikdash and he's a year old, and 22 minutes later he's 2 years old after he's dead? Amarava, yes. When it comes to a karban, we count hours. So if we know for a fact that he's born at 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so when you shechted him, he's 1 year old, and then it's already 2 o'clock. Now he's already 2 years old. So now he's a 2 years old. Rabbi Isaiah, with the Moed, thank you so much for coming. Remember, tomorrow we're doing this all over again.
Merit the schus of spreading Torah throughout the world. Sponsor a shir today. MDYsponsor.com or sponsor at MDYDaf.com.